Now, I've said this before. What you're going to learn today is literally going to change all end-time doctrine you've ever listened to. That statement is just as true today. You're not going to want to go anywhere. My name's Stephen Cochran.
I'm Elizabeth Cochran.
You're watching End Time Insights. And I'm glad you're with me. I'm going to be having you rush through scriptures because I'm going to be rushing through this teaching.
Okay.
So you're going to be my Bible reader. I wish I could spend more time dealing with these things more intricately, but as you're going to see, I'm going to be rushing from one point to the next. So I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time on each point, but I'm going to give you enough to where you're going to understand what you're seeing and listening to is accurate. You're going to see a lot of apparent in-your-face contradictions. It's going to raise a lot of questions. I wished I could solidify everything for you, but I'm going to give you enough to it'll make sense. Now, I don't know if you saw 2 shows ago. 2 shows ago was important. I'm going to have to recap a little bit because it's pertinent to today's show. 2 shows ago, I showed how literally the book of Revelation was written sequentially. That you were looking at durations of time repeat themselves. I called them repeats. That it wasn't written chronologically to where you like read from the beginning and you go through a story like once upon a time and then you get to the end and it's the end. I showed you how it's written in sequences and these sequences keep repeating themselves. Let me show you, just to recap real quick. I showed you a timeline. I got this revelation when I was 20 years old, so this is a long time ago. God gave me a revelation. He spoke to me one day, gave me several words in one day. He showed me that the 7 trumpets encompass a 7-year period. I'll put that timeline down below for you to where you can see it. I didn't know. All I did is I went to a Bible after God spoke. He said the 7 trumpets encompass a 7-year period. And I started adding up the timing sequences that are pertained to each trumpet. I didn't even know there's timing sequences. Mm-hmm. Some are a year, some are 6 months, there's 5 months and a third of a day and 3 years and 1 month, a lot of crazy time. When you put them all together, you've got yourself a 7-year period. I was like flabbergasted. A 7-year period, not an 8-year, 9-year, 20-year, 3 years and 1 month kind of. No, it's 7 years total when you combine them all together. So that in itself showed me one thing then that you can take away from, as you see it down below, that the book of Revelation cannot be written chronologically as we believed before. If you got the 7 trumpets encompassing the 7-year period, right there, that should tell you that there's a whole lot of other things going on. I also showed in the previous 2 shows ago, I showed how God gives us I call them repeat identifiers. The point to these repeat identifiers is when you see these sequences keep repeating themselves, you wonder why God is doing that. Each time you see a sequence, it's from a particular point of view. It's focusing on this aspect. And then it goes and repeats again, and it has to do with other aspects pertaining to the same point in time. However, so that we know that we're watching these things, these sequences repeat itself, these repeat identifiers are carried over. So let me give you an example of what I showed 2 shows ago in case you missed it. I showed how the 6th vial was the same as the 6th trumpet. They both focused on the great river Euphrates. So if that eluded you, I then showed you, I'm showing you pages in my book, I then showed you the 7th vial and the 7th trumpet. Look at all the criteria there. It's all pointing to the same stuff. This is there to let you know you're looking at the same sequence happening again. It's repeating itself, but focusing on a different point of view. That's how you know you're watching the same sequence happen over and over and over again. I also showed you, this was a jaw dropper that I didn't even get to get into, and I'm not even really going to get to this time, but we're going to focus on it a little bit. I showed you how the 6th chapter of Revelation was literally Matthew chapter 24 all the way down to verses 29 through 31. I did a side-by-side. I'll show you that here again in a graph. This is another picture in my book. Everything in chapter 24 is the same thing that's going on in Revelation chapter 6 with a couple extra things, but they're in the same order, the same sequence, till you get all the way down to verses 29 through 31, which is identical to Revelation chapter 6's sixth seal. Look at all the criteria, folks. I'll have the graphic up there for you so you can see it. Everything in verses 29 through 31, which is Jesus' return, everybody recognizes as the ending of the 7-year period, is the same thing that's happening in Revelation chapter 6's sixth seal. It's all identical, and I can't fabricate this. And we're left with an inescapable conclusion. They're in the same order, same things happening, and they conclude at the same point in time. And when you realize Revelation chapter 6 is Matthew chapter 24, you're again left with a sequence, a whole sequence right there, and then you're watching these things repeat. Now, I'm going to have you go to what happens right after the sixth seal. Go to Revelation chapter 7. I want you to read verses in a second. I want you to read verses 15 through 17. I want to clarify one thing. What happens after the sixth seal? The very next chapter, chapter 7, John is seeing listen to this. John is seeing 144,000 Jews being sealed. He sees a great multitude all of a sudden appear in heaven, which no man could number. After Jesus' return, which is the sixth seal, Matthew 24, 29 through 31, same thing. We've got this 144,000 being sealed. All of a sudden, the Jews all of a sudden believe in Jesus for some reason. How'd that happen? All of a sudden, they believe he's God. Perhaps maybe they saw him. So they got sealed. There's a great multitude that John is seeing, which no man can number. And the angel says, where do all these people come from? And he says, you got me, I got no clue. And then this is what John is told. I want you to read, pay attention to what these verses say, in verses 15 through 17. I want you to read them if you can.
Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them.
Stop for 1 second. So God is going to be with men. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one point. I want you to remember these things, folks. It's important. Go ahead and keep reading.
They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of water, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
So there's going to be fountains of living waters. He's going to lead them to. He's going to dwell with man. He's going to wipe away all tears from their eyes. Mm-hmm. At this point in time, after the sixth seal, chapter 7. Folks, I want you to hear these things. Now, why don't you we gave him a teaser in the previous show, 2 shows ago. We read Revelation chapter 21. Listen to this. Where John saw the new Jerusalem come down. I'm going to have you read those verses in a second. He watches it come down. And then several verses later, all of a sudden, he's shown the new Jerusalem coming down again, twice, in one chapter, chapter 21. Could you do me a favor and read those verses for me, please? Verses 2 and 10.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
That's one time. Pay attention to the fact that also prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Remember these things, folks. All of these pieces of criteria are important. Okay, so the New Jerusalem comes down once. Now go to verse 10. Mere verses later, go to read for me verse 10.
And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the New Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God.
Okay, so it came down again in the same chapter twice. My ridiculous sarcasm is, what in the world? Why did the angel carry him away after God just showed him the New Jerusalem come down? And then an angel goes out and says, hey, let me show you the New Jerusalem coming down.
Yeah.
What is that about? The interesting thing about this is if you look at the first time it comes down, I want you to read the verses that follow verse 2, because we are going to look for, and I'm just going to reveal to you a little bit. It's not going to solidify anything for you, but it's going to create a lot of questions. You're going to see a lot of contradictions, and it's going to make you go, what in the world? You're going to start scratching your head. Look for repeat identifiers here, folks, please. Read for me. I'm going to interrupt you a lot. Read for me verse 3, if you can, for me.
Sure. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. So God's going to be with them again. Again, wasn't he already with them over in chapter 7, right after the sixth seal? Isn't that what he said God would be with man? Okay. Why are we being told again after the New Jerusalem comes down that all of a sudden he's going to dwell with man again? He was already dwelling with them, as far as I understand it. Why don't you read for me the next verse? I believe you're talking verse 4. Is that? Or
4?
I'm not even. I'm not sure where you're at. I got all these notes and I don't want to follow them. Yeah.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Hey, stop. Okay. God's going to wipe away all tears from their eyes. Did not it say in verse 17 over in chapter 7, God's going to wipe away all tears from their eyes? Why is God again wiping away all tears from their eyes? Are they crying all over again? Perhaps some people started crying. Maybe they started, maybe he missed some tears, right? When God wiped it, he just forgot some people. Okay. Let's, folks, these are in your face, apparent, repeat identifiers, and I'm not even giving you the good ones. There are 6 right here that are in your face I want you to look at, but there's some really interesting criteria ones that are hard to see. Why don't you read that one more time? Start again, just one more time. I just want to, God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Continue reading the verse.
And God shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Why don't you go to verse 6? Just skip a verse, because this gets interesting. I'm probably going to interrupt you real quick, but go ahead.
Okay. And he said unto me, It is done.
Okay, stop. Say that again.
And he said unto me, It is done.
It is done. It is done. Now, I know I've heard this somewhere. I know I've heard this "it is done" thing somewhere else. Let me give you an example. In Revelation 16, verse 17, and the seventh angel poured, this is key, and the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, It is done.
Oh.
Time out. Okay, time out. If this is 1,000 years later, which is the way you've had this taught you, at the New Jerusalem, supposedly 1,000 years later, it's going to be done. And yet, at the 7th vial, it is done there. Okay. Why is it done here and it's done there? Somebody explain this to me. You want to know something, folks? Where did I just get done showing you? Where was the 7th vial? The same as the 7th trumpet. Remember? Rewind if you need to. The 7th vial is the 7th trumpet. And where's the 7th trumpet? The criteria around that I showed you 2 shows ago for the 7th trumpet that, no, I can't make this stuff up. When the mystery of God is finished and time is no longer, this is the criteria that has to do with the 7th trumpet. When the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of our Lord as Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Folks, that is by anybody's definition the ending of the 7-year period, moving on into the millennium. And yet, according to the 7th vial, the same as the 7th trumpet, it's done at the ending of the 7-year period. But wait, I'm sorry, it's done again. It's done again 1,000 years later. What is this it's done stuff? What's this? I'm wiping away tears from my eyes again, their eyes a second. Why is he now dwelling with man 1,000 years later when he was already dwelling with man earlier, 1,000 years? Do you see these blatant contradictions in our understanding of the book of Revelation? And I'm not even giving you the good stuff. I want you to keep reading. Why don't you read the very next verse? I wish I didn't have so many notes around it, but we're having to move right along. I think the next verse would be, why don't you... just keep reading. Just keep reading. Verse 6 is great. Keep reading.
And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely.
Did he really just say that? We are really moving into some major contradictions right here.
Yeah.
What did you learn? What did we say in Revelation chapter 7? That there were fountains of living waters. He will lead them unto fountains of living waters, right? That's happening apparently after the sixth seal, after the 144,000 are sealed. When there's a great multitude in heaven and God's going to dwell with man, wipe away all tears from their eyes, and yada, yada. And now he's going to lead them to the fountains of living waters. And yet, according to this, in the New Jerusalem is the fountain of the water of life.
Mm-hmm.
I count me silly and ridiculous, but isn't life the same as living?
Yeah.
Fountains of living waters, fountain of the water of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm losing it here. I'm losing my mind on this. How could there be then 1,000 years earlier the waters of living waters, and yet they're given again 1,000 years later? This is too much, folks. Can you see all the contradictions? Why don't you read the next verses for me? We're going to try to hurry this up. I don't have time to give all this and or solidify everything for you, but I'm giving you enough to where you can see the blatant, in-your-face contradictions. You've got to be scratching your head at this point. It's going to get worse. Go ahead and read the next couple of verses. Why don't you read verses 7? And why don't you read, yeah.
He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
Okay, and I want to point out one thing, folks. These are repeat identifiers. Read verse 8 and get a load of this, and then listen to the way it reads. Read verse 8 for me, please.
But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, and the whoremongers, and the sorcerers, and the adulterers, and all liars shall have their...
Stop. Did you say shall have their part?
Shall have their part
You
in
didn't
the
say
lake.
that. You're reading it wrong. You're reading it. No, babe, it didn't say that. Is that really what it says? They shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. They're going to have it. At this point, they're going to have it.
Future.
Do you know the way it reads? And you do. If you read Revelation or heard any teachings, what just happened prior to the New Jerusalem coming down? The way everybody teaches it. Well, the great white throne judgment. Mm-hmm. And then they're all cast in a lake of fire. Mm-hmm. And then the New Jerusalem comes down. Mm-hmm. Well, we just had the New Jerusalem come down, and now these people have yet to have their part in the lake of fire. They shall have their part. This isn't making any sense. I'm sorry. This is not making any sense. How could they have yet to have? Somebody's got some interpretations incorrect, or somebody's reading things wrong, or you're being taught wrong. I want you to read the next verse, Kenny. So obviously, apparently, when the New Jerusalem comes down, at this point, they shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. Read to me the next verse, please. This is very interesting. This is all filled with very interesting stuff.
Do you want me to finish 8?
Why don't you, no.
No? Okay.
I just did it for them. Why don't you read verse 9, because we're running out of time.
And there come unto me...
but came unto me...
one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife.
There we hear again, the wife, the bride. Mm-hmm. Reiterating that the Lamb's wife, at this point in time, there's a marriage happening. Now, count me silly. Okay, folks, isn't polygamy when you get married more than once? Polygamy?
Yeah, when you have like multiple.
What is Jesus doing? I have a hard time with this. Folks, Armageddon chapter 19 is the marriage supper, or in modern day terms is the wedding reception. And we get married to him. But apparently 1,000 years later, there's going to be another marriage, and there's not even a reception. I mean, talk about, that's a bummer. We get the reception that the New Jerusalem doesn't.
Right.
Or maybe he's not getting married twice, whoever would have thunk about that one. I'm just saying maybe he's not getting married twice. Let me give you some information here, folks. Take this to heart. I'm going to give you some contradictions that are inescapable. Listen to me. Most people will believe when God created Adam and Eve, he wanted them to be fruitful and to multiply. And when that failed, this New Jerusalem, this 144,000 specifically, are the continuation of God's initial plan. They are to be fruitful and multiply and go out and spread and, fill the earth. That's the continuation of God's initial plan. Most people will agree with me on this and not argue it.
Yeah.
I have some problems here. Why don't you read for me? Read for me, let's see, I need you to go to chapter 22, the very next chapter. And read verse 14 for me, please.
Verse 14.
14.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter, that they may enter in through the gates into the city.
Where the tree of life is.
Right.
Adam and Eve had a tree of life. They needed that to sustain them. Did you know that?
So there's another one.
What? Oh, this is a blade. Oh, this is in your face. This is where it becomes extremely problematic. Very problematic. What in the world is this tree of life and fountains of living water, which is in the New Jerusalem also? This time I have two things. There's reasons for this, but I explain this more in the book, which you really ought to get. 1,000 years later, this tree of life is now being presented to them. Who is this for, and why is it 1,000 years later? Mm-hmm. They're all going to be dead. If this is for the 144,000, these are humans, folks. These are not angelic.
Yeah.
They're human. And they're going to, just like Adam and Eve, and they need access to this tree of life that apparently is 1,000 years later. Oh my, I can't even, this is so unconceivable to where we preach this and we teach this and we just don't know what we're saying.
Yeah.
Talk about a contradiction in your face. They're all going to be dead. I'm sorry, they would be dead by the end of the 1,000 years if that's where the New Jerusalem comes down. Did you understand that it said and that they may enter into the gates of the city? You don't got to read any more just yet. There's gates there. What are these gates for? Why are there gates? Why are the names of the 12 tribes of Israel on the names of these gates, these 12
that's a good
gates?
question.
Did you know at these gates there's an angel posted at each of these? Mm-hmm. Did you know there's a wall 215 feet high?
Why?
Surrounding, read for me verse 15 if you will, please.
For without our dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and adulterers and whoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Outside the city are adulterers and whoremongers outside the city. That's what it just said right there. Mm-hmm. The way we've been taught it, they just got cast in a lake of fire.
Right.
How are they, are they all going to swim for it, folks? And they're going to make it to that's why this wall is needed? Why in the world have we got angels posted at each gate? Why are the name? Do you know what a name means? Do you have the name on the outside of your house? We used to have the name on the outside of our house. Mm-hmm. I got a name on my Bible right there. I got a name on lots of different things. I have a name on a title. What's the name denote? Ownership. Mm-hmm. I know that's my Bible, but yet I got my name on the outside of my Bible.
Yeah.
You probably do, many of you do too. Did you forget your Bible? If your name's on the outside of your house, have you forgotten where you live? Come on, people. Why is there a name on the outside of the city? What's the wall there for? What's the angels there for? It says on the outside of the city, these people are in the lake of fire if everybody wants to listen to where everybody else teaches this without understanding some details that I'm not even giving you. I can't even get into the things that solidify this for you. Get this book. But read the companion first. We even got a combo being offered,
first.
And then you got to read. Don't get the no. We don't. But listen to this. It gets even better. Besides the names being on the gates, denoting ownership, I want to show you that these people are people. Did you know also the 12 apostles? Their names are in the wall, and the 12 foundations of the wall of this 200-foot wall, 215 foot. Trump, eat your heart out. This is a wall. This is really a wall. If they're all, again, folks, listen to this. If they're all in the lake of fire, what's the purpose of the wall? Anyway, the point is, we got the names of the 12 apostles in the foundations of the wall, again, denoting ownership. Mm-hmm. To show you that they're human, what's your takeaway from this? Why do we have no gates? Why do the 144,000 have gates and the 12 apostles or the church, the saints, why don't we have any gates? I want to know. Somebody explain to me. I think God forgot to give us gates. Could it be we need no gates? We don't need no stinking gates? We're angelic. We can right on through.
Yeah.
It's an amazing revelation, folks, that you've never heard by anybody else. This is all amazing things that you need to understand.
Yeah, this was a doozy for sure.
And I'm not even explaining all of it. Folks, listen to me. I wanted to give you so much, and I rushed through this. All I have done is create a lot of problems that I wanted you to see that are in your face. I want you to understand repeat identifiers, but there are things in these two books. You need the graph, which you can, if you go to CochranMinistries.com, you can see the first 9 chapters of this book for free. It's given to you for free. It's just a video that plays on from one to the next and the next. If you like what you're seeing, I advise you to get the book. But for the first time ever, and this is the last show that we will do this, we are giving, you should be holding this
The
paper.
combo.
The combo, yeah. Get the companion has the information that solidifies a whole lot more that I have not even gotten into. All I've done for you is create a lot of problems and a lot of frustration to some of you saying, but you've been given enough
Yeah.
that you know what you're seeing has some major issues if you're going to take it the way we've been taught it. The problem is people don't know what they're teaching. I'm sorry. They don't see these repeats. I'm sorry, they don't, or they would see all these problems.
No, this was eye-opening for sure. It has to be.
Yeah, we're down to 1 minute. So you can see why, and I gave you a lot. That's $10 off. Normally, these two books, because of printing, would cost you $52. Now we're selling it, giving it for $42. Last show, you won't see it anymore. It's on the website. If you want to go to the website, again, you can watch the graph first. I advise you to see that because you cannot read the companion without the graph.
Yeah.
I have people who want to just get the companion, don't have the graph, and I'm saying, don't, because you're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the companion.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So do that, and you can get it, again, last show, just for $10 off, plus shipping. If you're watching internationally or wherever, you can get ebooks. We offer them too. But folks, I hope I've given you enough to where you see the problems and that you see these repeat identifiers, but there is information in the companion that I have saved for those who get the book. There's some things that are so powerful that I want to give you, and I may be able to give you some stuff in future videos. I really don't know. It depends. But,
Hope you guys soaked all that in.
yeah. I hope this has been eye-opening. I hope you got enough to where you can actually take it. You're not going to want to miss the shows to come. Look for more to come. So next time, take care and God bless.
Bye.